Welcome back to Duda Dojo, your go-to source for the latest Duda news, platform how-tos, and product updates. I'm Jessica, and this week I sat down with RivalMind COO Matt McGinnis and CMO Matt Scroggs to discuss why businesses need to consider a website redesign in 2025. So let's jump right in. Matt, let's talk about why businesses need to redesign their websites in the coming year, 2025, why it's so important. I know that we have a lot of interesting perspective on why it should be done from a marketing perspective, why it should be done from a technical perspective, how often it should be done. So Matt, I would love to start with you because you have such great insight into the marketing, the sales perspective. Why do you think that a business or organization should redesign their website in 2025?
Jessica, how much time do you have?
Yeah. Well, we'll keep it at 10 minutes.
There's no way we can cover this in 10 minutes. This would probably be like a 2-hour show.
Yeah.
So what's interesting is I wrote an article on this topic, not on 2025, but how often you should redesign your website, like 15 years ago. And so when you asked me to do this show, I was thinking, I wonder if the answer is still the same. And it actually is. The answer is redesign your website every 2 or 3 years. So if anyone in the viewing audience is thinking about redesigning their website, then they're probably about 2 years overdue.
Yeah.
Right? So I actually did a little prep for this show, about 3 minutes worth.
That's all you really needed, though. Yeah.
So I wanted to confirm that I was right. And every single resource that I looked up had the exact same answer, 2 to 3 years. LinkedIn, SEMrush, Forrester, all the same. And then I'm going to read this because it came right off of one of those articles. The lifespan of a website depends on several factors, such as industry, technology trends, and user preferences. However, as a general rule of thumb, a website should be redesigned every 2 to 3 years to keep up with the latest design trends, user behavior, and search engine algorithms.
I love that. That actually number could be really shocking to people who are watching or listening because most clients, when they come in the door, have had those websites when we redesign at least like 7 years.
Oh, yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about from the perspective of every 2 to 3 years, we know about design trends, fashion changes, right? How could we look at it from a technical perspective? And then also, how does Duda allow us to perform that really well from a technical perspective? So Matt, I am staring at you, but I know we all are pretty well versed in this. What's your initial take on that?
Yeah, I mean, even just the simple fact that technology is advancing, things are moving literally faster.
Like AI.
Yeah, all of the tools that are available for building websites, for maintaining websites, today is significantly different even from 3 years ago. Yeah. Like just the advent of ChatGPT. Like, we've been hearing about AI for a long time, but like to actually deliver something into somebody's hands where they were first experiencing it, like think about the first time you actually interacted with ChatGPT.
Yeah.
And you were like,
scared?
Whoa. You were like, whoa, like
what the heck?
Actually does like what you would intuitively expect. I know that I was blown away. So like same thing is happening right now. Duda is a great example. Like we're building in Duda all day, every day. And, some of the AI features from a content standpoint that they've integrated into their platform. I mean, I don't want to tell you how many times like I literally wrote website copy because I was struggling to get copy from a client
100%
to make it through a website. And now like that, it's almost become like a non-issue because as we go down that road, anybody who built websites know that content is the number one hang up. How do you help somebody reconfigure the message that they're trying to send to the world?
Yeah.
But being
Duda's doing a great job.
To generate that content is now just something that like literally, if I filled out their business information, like I can click that little AI thing and at least I can give a starting point to give a client something to react to. So like,
so you're honestly, the answer to your first question is tech.
Yeah.
And one of the things that you brought up right away, because it's near and dear to your heart and mine too, is Duda.
Yeah.
Right.
And I don't want this to sound like a Duda commercial, and we'll probably talk about Duda more later. But if you aren't using a content management system that you love, that's a marketer's dream, you're missing the boat. And so, just the tech that has changed even in the last 2 years is crazy different, and how it responds to mobile and all the things that are necessary to lead a visitor down the path towards conversion the second they hit your website.
Yeah. I mean, let's talk about from a minute, both from the tech perspective of why is Duda a marketer's dream? I mean, I'll go first and say it's easy for someone who maybe doesn't have the best design chops, right? Can go in there and make edits for themselves on the fly and build new pages quite easily in compared to some of the other CMSs that we have worked with or we still currently work with. But then from the external perspective, why is this website a marketing tool? So I'm kind of asking twofold or making a statement about this. So there's the technical perspective of Duda makes it easy for basic users to make changes to their website once it's designed and built, right? And then there's the perspective from how the website actually is a representative of your brand. A lot of people don't think about that. And I know that you have so much experience and knowledge in how a website represents your brand and really is a marketer or a salesperson for you. Can you give us insight into that?
Oh man, this topic is another one you could talk about for an hour.
Yeah.
Just on the outset of just a website in general, you have 3 seconds when someone hits your website, hits your homepage, or any page for that matter. Quite frankly, every page should be your homepage if you're doing good SEO. You have 3 seconds for them to decide to move forward or to move out. And that isn't just a made up number. That's another Forrester number actually. And lots of usability, research and testing just shows that you have such a limited amount of time to capture someone's attention.
Yeah.
And what do you have to do, Matt, in that 3 seconds?
I was trying not to interrupt you, but like these are the things that we're talking when we're talking to prospects. When like literally you have 3 seconds to tell them who you are, what you do, and why it matters. Like those things are happening. People are searching for information. That's why they're on Google. That's how they landed at your website. They're looking for something to be an identifier that makes them know they're in the right place. Like, yep, this is exactly what I'm looking for. This is the service that I was searching for. And this seems like a credible place to get that information, because while all of those, nuts and bolts might be right, like you might have the right H1, they might have landed on the right page, but if it's not aesthetically pleasing, if it's not enticing them down the funnel a little bit further, they're going to get there and they're going to be like, it seems kind of sketchy.
Yeah.
I'm out.
Untrustworthy.
Yeah. And just think about the cost for a business owner if you don't do this right. If you're spending $50 a day on Google Ads or $500 a day. I just had a friend send me an example of a bill because he's doing an enterprise plan with another agency.
Sure.
And they're spending $100,000 every day.
Stop.
Can you imagine not getting that right?
Yeah.
Or what if you're spending any amount of money on SEO?
Yeah.
And you have someone come to your website and they don't immediately follow your path.
Yeah.
But instead they click out. That is money you are burning.
This is like, I don't know if you guys watch Shark Tank or not, but
I'm a big fan.
Constantly listening to like, well, what's your cost per acquisition? And like, those are the types of numbers that you're playing with.
Yeah.
Like if you have literally paid and gotten somebody to land somewhere and then they don't take action, well, like that's literally wasted money.
Yeah, and there's a science to this. Okay, we'll have to get back to your original topic, but there's a science to this.
Yeah.
You know, where eye tracking studies, where does someone's eyes go the second they land on your website? They go left to right to left. And if you don't have someone who has designed a great website on mobile, on desktop, that knows how to lead the visitor down the path towards conversion,
right,
then you're burning money on the other side of the equation.
Yeah, let's talk about that because plug RivalMind, we do really, really well at that. So from previous work in web development, or even just as we're out there, looking at competition, it's something we build strategized websites because we are SEO first. So let's talk about how we do that and how do we consider taking the user down that path. Like you said earlier, no matter what page that user has entered your website at, how we take them down that path. So I'll really kind of lob that to either of you. I mean, I can kick it off by saying we know that we need to start implementing conversions right away when that at the top of the page, because we know people lose interest as they go down, and really the page we just want to continue to affirm that whatever you're talking about, you have knowledge on, and that's why they'd want to interact with you. But what do you have to say?
That's some of the most interesting stuff to do, like whether there's a bunch of different softwares, Hotjar or Crazy Egg or Microsoft Clarity, where you can literally watch anonymous users, how do they interact with this page, and understanding the heat mapping, scroll mapping, where do people stop? And so by analyzing that type of information is really how we've started to configure, like, at this point, we know that people are going to open the page and they're going to scroll to about this point.
Yeah.
Like that's just a natural feature of people being on websites. So understanding where's that first stop in their scroll, like you pretty much should have something that's like are you ready to convert yet? Like message to be there, and then watch what happens. And there's click map data, and looking at all of the features that you have on your website and studying what your layout is it's like the next layer deep. Of course, it's got to be trustworthy. It's got to be, you have to be taken seriously. All of us have been on, clicked on a link on Google and then take it to a website where I'm like, this is not trustworthy.
Right.
I don't want to do anything on this website. Yep. As a matter of fact, I'm kind of scared. I'm out of here.
Yes. Well, most users too are making those decisions in fractions of a second, and then they don't know that they're making them. That's why professional design is actually really important. You can build your own website, and due to lots of platforms have templates and things like that. But it is really important that you come across legit and trustworthy.
Yeah.
And I tell you, one of the other things that you brought to my mind is make sure if you're going to have a service provider that's building your website, I say find a service provider who also is doing your SEO.
Yeah.
And is also potentially doing other things for you, because you incentivize that agency, that company to make you money. One of the things that you hear me say all the time when I'm in a sales call, which is absolutely true, is we're here to make you money, because if we don't make you money, you will go away. Yeah. And our mission statement, we exist to help companies thrive.
Right.
Okay. So if you hire a company or an individual, maybe some guy in his basement, that's always the proverbial, why is a designer always in his basement?
I think it's more the SEO guy that's in his basement,
Yeah. But if you hire a guy or a gal to build your website that doesn't have any other incentive to keep you as a customer, they're building it and then they're moving on.
Yeah.
Then they're just going to build something that looks nice, and they're not going to think about all the strategy that's required to actually make you money. And there is a lot of strategy.
I love
talking about, and we're just drilling down into all of these granulars, but those are when we start having those conversations. Well, what does that strategy mean? What does it look like? It goes into understanding the business of whoever the client is, understanding the search marketplace, and then what pages do you have on your website? What pages don't you have? What pages does your competition have that you don't have that you really need? And why? And being able to then put all of these things together. Great design, good layout, understanding what's happening on the page, but having it be keyword targeted so that Google's picking it up and indexing it. And then people are landing exactly where they should. And you have a credible, expertise, authoritative, trustworthiness, like all of those things are getting funneled into people being like, yeah, heck yeah.
Yeah.
When they land on a website that they're confident in, then they reach out to do the thing.
Yeah, I tell you, your original question, why redesign your website in 2025?
Yep.
This is something we live day in and day out.
Mm-hmm.
I see dozens of websites a week. And in any given day, I could put into any of our tools, just pick 10 websites.
Mm-hmm.
And I can show you that only maybe 10% are actually using real SEO.
Yes.
There is so much opportunity for companies who have competition not doing real SEO. It is mind-boggling.
Yep, and we see it all the time.
Yeah, especially the small businesses. You have small local businesses and they think they're doing SEO because they're paying some service $100 and they're not getting anything, or they're getting $100 worth. Where if you literally designed your website with SEO strategy, you could mop up the competition. And that's why, RivalMind is a company at all.
Yeah.
Because that's what we do. And I mean, there's just so much opportunity. So that each of these things in and of themselves is a reason to redesign your website.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so kind of in closing, so we've touched on all the technicals and structure and building that trust and dependability. Something that we also talk about is how that website kind of is like a salesperson for you. So all of the elements we've discussed are like the logical perspective. There's also a story you're telling. So Matt, obviously, from a CMO's perspective, share with us how your website tells a story of all those things that we're talking about, trust, dependability, and can act as that marketer before you get the call or before you get the form fill, and kind of does a little bit of the sales for you.
Oh, man. I mean, that is the name of the game.
Yeah.
Oh, like literally week after week, we sit in meetings with brand new opportunities on Zoom or wherever, and they will say, well, we had one just like 2 weeks ago. That was
I
just
must have been thinking the same thing because you're picking up on my brainwave.
Because they were literally like, we've been on your website for the last couple of days. We've watched all your videos.
Oh, so cool.
And we are ready to go.
Yeah.
And it was literally like, I didn't have to say anything. Like they were telling me how great we were because they've been on our website, and all they wanted to do was get a proposal and sign it.
Yeah. So they took a lot of the weight off of you having to
all
communicate.
of the weight.
So when we say like, oh, it should be a salesman for you, it's like, it literally is.
Yeah.
How is that first impression? I mean, this example, like they knew our names, they knew our faces. Like Matt introduced himself, and then I introduced myself, and they're like, yeah, we know.
Yeah. So that can be the story. Now, this particular company was very vocal about it and made the conversation fun.
Yeah.
But quite frankly, it happens constantly. And we have on our website lots of video testimonials and just a lot of great case studies and that just demonstrate that we know what we're doing and that we're literally growing businesses. And so when they come to us, they already are convinced of that. They just want to verify that they like us, they trust us, and nearly every time it's a proposal after talking for 30 minutes. Yeah. And it's because they found us on using Google.
Yep.
And this is coast to coast. I would never be able to reach out to these companies. They come to us because of SEO. They have already been on our website. They've seen all our videos, and they just want to start the relationship.
Yeah.
This is like the key piece. They're doing it and we're doing it. You're trying to find out, is this a good fit? Because, any business struggles with, at some point you're like, we'll work with anybody whose money is green.
Yeah.
But as we've progressed, even since I've been working at RivalMind, like we've just progressed in, like we do our best work for people that that have this, that we're headed in the same direction. They believe what we believe. And what we believe is like, we can help businesses thrive.
Yes.
That's literally what we're doing every day. And being enthusiastic about that, being excited when people come to us and they're interested in working with us. Like, I have so much confidence in what we can do that it makes them excited. Yeah. And like, if that's not happening when we're having that conversation, then it's a red flag, and it should be a red flag for both sides. Yeah. Because this is, we do it because we love it, and we honestly believe that we can be helpful. And if they're not vibing with that, then it's probably not a good fit.
Yeah. Right. I mean, these stories, what you guys are sharing, I find it personally to be really motivating, especially to hear a client was able to watch the videos, all the work that's been invested in testimonials or other, videos like this, and to share that with people and them to be intrigued. And for you to say like, from both sides, if you guys are just having that energy for who you're about to hire and who you're about to onboard, I mean, what just an excellent way to build a relationship with your clients. So, well,
and you have to make sure that it's authentic.
Sure.
This is really interesting, but we hired a new project search manager recently. And in a meeting the other day, he said, okay, so your RivalMind is legit. And I said, what do you mean by that? And he said, so he came from an agency downtown Chicago. Sure. And he said, the things that you guys are doing, he said, I am proud to be a part of this organization because you are really doing it. Like you're doing what you say you're doing, and you're making a real difference. He said, I cannot believe the amount of work that is going into these websites and into this SEO compared to the other agencies I've worked at. Yeah. And so hopefully that comes across on our website too. Yeah. But it needs to be authentic. Yeah. Your customer service excellence needs to be real. You combine all of those things, a great company, great customer service, excellent products, and then put it on your website in an authentic way, and have great design so that right away you give them incentive to keep going and to keep exploring. You put all that together and you can't not be successful.
Yeah. I mean, wow, that was amazing. I think let's just end it right there because that was fantastic. Thank you, both of you.
Yeah. Awesome.
You're still here? The video's over. Go home. Or if you like this video, check out this one. Or subscribe to our channel.